Hello, this is Jordan. Welcome back to the Daily Gold YouTube channel. And if you're new, welcome to the Daily Gold YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. This video is being recorded on Wednesday, January 29th, 2025 in the evening. So Wednesday evening, January 29th. And today is also the Chinese New Year. So that's why I have this red shirt. And that aside, in this video, I'm going to talk about 7 charts showing 7 potential breakouts that could happen this year. Well, I think 6 of the 7 could happen this year, and what the implications of that are for precious metals. And before I get to the first chart, just let me say I did finish my book. It will be published in a hardcover option at some point in the next month or two. But if you want a free PDF copy, go to thedailygold.com. Just opt in there at the top, and you will get a free PDF copy. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your interest in my book. It means a lot to me. Now, with that, let's get right to these 7 charts. Okay, so first off here, we have the inflation-adjusted gold price, also known as gold divided by the CPI, and that baby is right here. And this is actually a legit cup and handle. 45-year base here. This is a legit cup and handle because this handle did not retrace more than 50% of this move. So this is a legit cup and handle monster 45-year base. And I apologize for not including the gold stocks here because if you think about gold stocks and what should they follow? Well, they follow their margins. They follow the profitability of their mines. And so obviously the gold price is a huge element of that, but it's gold minus costs. And so inflation is a good proxy for cost. So therefore, gold against the CPI, this chart looks a bit similar to the Barron's Gold Mining Index and various gold stock indexes that go back this far in history. And so I have talked about that before, but I neglected to do that in this video. But anyway, the point is that this chart is set up for an explosive move higher like that. And the implication is that's going to be extremely bullish for the gold stocks. And so what could this mean fundamentally? Well, if the economy slows down, we're going to have a downturn in a recession. The Fed has to cut rates. Gold could really explode at a time when inflation for a year or 18 months, maybe it pauses. It's not going to skyrocket. And so that's a situation where this thing will surge like this. And that's super bullish for the stocks. So based on this chart, it's really good news for the stocks. And I'll get to the stocks a bit later. Second, my bread and butter, gold against the 60-40 portfolio. This is gold against 60% stocks, 40% bonds, rebalanced every year. This is where we are. This baby is, what is this, like a 10-year base? So this thing is setting up for another explosive breakout. Now, gold has been crushing bonds, but not stocks. So that's what's been holding this up. So we'll get to that here. Gold against the stock market. Gold against the S&P 500. So this is trading in a 3-year base with resistance at 0.50. So we'll see. I mean, if this can make a big move like that, that is just going to be super bullish for the entire precious metal sector. So looking at gold against the 60-40, gold against the S&P 500, gold is not outperforming conventional assets. It's not outperforming the conventional 60-40. I mean, it hasn't made a big breakout yet. It hasn't been outperforming stocks. So too much money has been going into stocks and not into gold. A limited amount of capital has been going into gold, or the gold sector. It's been moving into gold, but it's been neglecting silver, the gold stocks, the juniors, etc. So this is the key here. This breaking out, that is going to be a catalyst for a lot more money moving into the precious metal sector. So we'll see. Very important, probably the most important chart on this list as far as this year. Now, let's get to the next. And these are large cap gold stocks. So all the large cap indices of the senior mining stocks, GDX, XAU, HUI. I mean, look at these bases. This is a 4.5-year base. Pretty soon this will be a 5-year base. I mean, look at the XAU, multiple tests here. Look at the Huey. I mean, if we look at the XAU and we look at this right here, we're looking at, what is this, 82. This is 165, maybe 167. If you do a measured upside target, that's getting close to 250. Same thing for GDX. Let's call this 40 here. 40, let's call this 20. You take the 20 points, you add it, 60. That's a measured upside target of 60. So these are super bullish bases, and they're set up for huge breakout moves. Look, I don't have a crystal ball like many people on Twitter. I can't tell you if it's going to break out in 4 months, 4 weeks, or 8 months, or 13 months, or 7 months. You get the point. We'll get more. We'll have a better idea as time goes on. But here and now, we are set up for a huge breakout. I think sometime this year. That would be my guess. But that's subject to change. Could be sooner, could be a little later. We'll see. Okay, next chart we have here. We have GDXJ and GOEX. And look, people, GDXJ is really a mid-tier index. This is not a junior index anymore. This is a mid-tier index. GOEX is similar to GDXJ, but it doesn't have some of the top companies. So GOEX is a better junior index. Just looking at the stocks, I think GOEX is a better index of the larger juniors than GDXJ, because GDXJ has mid caps in it. But GOEX, this is almost a perfect base going back 4.5 years now. 35, what's this down here? Call it 17, that's 18, 53. So that's the upside you have here, 53. GDXJ, not a perfect base. But it still has some room to go to get back to the high. But nevertheless, I mean, this is a good 4-year base here. And before I get to the next chart, well, I'll do the next chart and I'll stop for a second. So this is, if you want to follow this index, go to Google and type in S&P TSX Canadian Junior Subindex. So this index has 32 companies in it. The median market cap is 200 million. The average market cap is 340 million. So this is a better index of juniors, I would say, than GDXJ or even GOEX, because juniors aren't billion-dollar companies. But you catch my drift. I'm sorry, I digress. So this index, this is almost a 10-year base, but if this was extended back to remember 2012, 2013, the juniors came down like this. So if we extended this to 2013, this is really a 12-year base if you think about it. So this has performed reasonably well. Maybe it makes another move up, and then it tests that decade-long resistance. So this is also set up for a huge breakout. And I would expect that going back here, gold against the S&P, you probably need to see this break above 50. This is the first thing, because if this breaks above 0.50, that's going to lead to this thing really exploding higher, and eventually you'll get this thing breaking out. So this breaking out is the key. So you get that breaking out, and then that's what's going to lead to these stocks eventually breaking much higher. Same thing with these stocks and this junior index as well. Okay, so one more chart. Finally, we have silver against the 60-40 here. This is silver. Beautiful, super bullish base here. God, this is going to be the biggest breakout of all time, aside from 1971 and commodity prices breaking out. So this is silver against the 60-40. Monster double bottom here. Well, it's kind of hard to say. Look at this. This is an epic double bottom. But it's been going sideways for, I could have put a line here. It's been going sideways for 4 years, almost 4 years. Now, to get to this resistance, that's about a 30% move. So 30% in terms of silver would take this, I think, into the low 40s. So point being, by the time this breaks above resistance and you're moving like that, that puts silver in position not only to get to 50, but to break above 50. So this chart here, this is probably going to break out last of all the 7 here. So that's why I mentioned I think 6 of the 7 could break out this year. So That's where we are. That's the 7 charts. And, one more thing on top of that, this outlook for the stocks. I mean, you just look at these charts and what's coming in the coming quarters over the next 12 or 18 months, the potential for some huge moves in the stocks. If you own junior stocks and you're not a subscriber to the Daily Gold Premium, would love to have you consider our service. Go to thedailygold.com/premium. If you are a subscriber, I thank you. It means a lot to me. And for those of you who are not, would love to have you come aboard, consider our service. And I write about and cover the companies that I'm personally investing in. I'm looking for the high quality juniors that have 5x to 10x potential over the next few years in a cyclical bull market in gold and silver. So I'm looking for quality juniors that are a really good value at today's metals prices. And then on top of that, we get higher moves in metals prices. That's how these stocks go from being like a double to triple, quadruple, 5x, maybe even 10x. So that's what I'm looking for. Focus on company selection. I assess everything, and would love to have you come aboard if you're not a subscriber. And finally, remember to go to thedailygold.com. You can opt in there. You get a copy of my free book. Let me know what you think about the book. And also, let me know what you think about the video. Are there any of these 7 potential breakouts you're most keen on or you think would be the biggest and have the most significance? Would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And hope you guys have a great rest of the week. I'll talk to you guys on Friday.